Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hypnotic Sunday service. So, always some sort of technical issue. I'm there. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm in trouble if you can't. But if you can, leave a chat. Let me know. Go ahead and connect to chat.restream.io/Facebook if you're on there, and then I can see your name in the chat. And today, I'm going to talk about how to conquer your fear of being seen. And, as a hypnotist, one of the most common phobias that we deal with is a fear of public speaking. And people hate it. I hate it. I mean, but some people thrive on it and absolutely love it. But there's something about public speaking that it brings something more primal up in us, this sort of fear, and that's why it's so prevalent in society. And you got to kind of wonder why that is. And, everybody deal with this. It's not necessarily like the most comfortable thing to get up in front of a room full of people and start talking. And I know a lot of people are afraid of doing this sort of thing, popping on a live stream and just talking. And one of the most common things is, well, I don't know what to say. I don't like to talk. I'm like, well, you know what? I don't know what to say either. I'm just winging it. I'm going with it. I found my idea of what I want to talk about because it is so relevant to so many people. And but you gotta wonder, why is that? Why are so many people afraid of being seen and afraid of public speaking, of putting themselves out there like that? And I always say that none of our feelings, our emotions really are good or bad. They just are. We've evolved to feel them for a reason. There is some sort of perceived benefit to them, even the uncomfortable ones, right? Even the ones that we really don't enjoy feeling, anxiety especially. I know that does a number on me physically when it comes up. The emotion of whatever anxiety I'm feeling generates the feeling in my body, the physical sensations that are very unpleasant. But we evolved to feel that. It's not a bad thing. It just is. It's not a comfortable thing, but it's a warning, right? And that's what it was meant to do. So there is a benefit to it. Now, on top of, all of these emotions having this perceived benefit, we have different cognitive biases that go on that kind of keep us moving in a way that is optimal for the species, right? Because when it boils down to it, like the core things that drive us are survival and propagation of the species. And I would say that is just a survival part too. So, but that is everything boils down to this one tiny primordial base program. What do you do? Survive. And because we're social creatures, we need others to survive, even the most introverted of us. We need that social interaction with other people. And again, I think part of that is also based in that survival when it comes to we got to keep propagating the species because we work better together. We can accomplish more. We can survive better with other people. Now, keep in mind if everything our subconscious mind has us do is meant to either protect us or to help us feel pleasure, what is the fear of public speaking doing? What does social anxiety, how's that benefit us? Because we're not running from saber-toothed tigers anymore. You know, we're not dealing with all of that 20,000 years ago our ancestors had to deal with. We argue about DoorDash online and how beneficial that is, that sort of thing. So, why social anxiety? Where does that come from? This fear of public speaking, where does that come from? And like I was saying, we have cognitive biases that help us kind of stay in our lane with that programming. One of those things is in group and out group bias. Whereas the in group, people like you, people that you resonate with, whatever they're saying, you want to bring them in. Okay, these are your people. These are your friends. These are your family. These are the people you can trust. These are the people that you're safe with. Outside of that group, it becomes more unknown, which is scary to the unconscious mind, and therefore is more of a threat. And if you think back to those times when we were hunters and gatherers and we had to worry about saber-toothed tigers eating us constantly, our ancestors would have really had a strong in-group bias to stay in the tribe and to not get cast out. Because if you were cast out, if you were an outsider, you're as good as dead, essentially. Evolutionary is so hard to survive on your own. Today is a great time for introverts. It's a great time for hermits because we have the ability to exist on our own. If you want to call it living, that's a whole other discussion we can have, but we don't have to fear for our lives. However, there is still that in-group bias, where we need other people to survive. And that fear of being cast out, of being on our own, completely isolated, exiled, is a very deep seated evolutionary fear. So when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to social anxiety, that fear gets ramped up because what if I say something wrong? I'll get cast out of the group. What if these people reject me? Then I'm cast out. I'm alone. I won't have anything. It is playing on that need for survival, right? And like I said, that is a powerful thing because it's primal and it makes us feel like we need to do this to survive. So one of those strategies, the best way is to just blend in and be invisible and not be seen. Don't stand out because then you can't be rejected. Don't show up and put yourself out there because then you don't have to worry about it. Then you don't have to worry about being rejected. Now, this has problems in and of itself. right? Because it holds us back from getting what we want, from going after our goals in life, from living the life that we want to do. It will prevent us from going out and making friends. It'll prevent us from going online, going live, and talking to who? Everyone, no one, doesn't matter. Because there is this, what if they reject me? What if my audience doesn't like what I'm saying? What if these coworkers don't like me and they then don't invite me to any work functions, that sort of thing? If I speak up, if I just stay invisible, if I'm just not seen, I won't have to worry about rejection. Nobody's going to know me to invite me to anything. I'm still going to be in that same unhappy spot that I'm stuck in, but I'm not pushing that fear. I'm not creating the fear of being out there and talking at that point. So that's where I believe these fears of public speaking, social anxiety, and a lot of times the two go hand in hand. They don't have to. I know people who are very outgoing, but when it comes to actually standing up in front of people and speaking and being an authority on a subject, it terrifies them. And it's the same thing, though. It's that in-group, out-group bias. It's that fear of being exiled from the tribe that comes up. And it's, I know in this day and age, it's not rational, but our emotional mind is not our rational mind. Our logical mind knows better. Our emotional mind doesn't. And if there's a conflict between the two, the emotional mind wins 100% of the time, because that is driving us. That drives everything we do. We can't logic our way out of emotional problems. We have to get the emotional mind on board with what the conscious logical mind wants. We have to address its fears and reassure it and show it that it's okay and get it open to learning that. And that's where hypnosis comes in, because we can have that conversation. We can go, look, I know what you're trying to do. I know you want to help me. I know everything you do, you're trying to keep me safe. I appreciate it. But at this point, this is holding me back. And we'll be safer if we get here. I'll be happier if I get here. But we need to stop doing this thing that's blocking us on the way. And it's not going to hurt us, promise. And they'll be open to it. They'll go, okay, all right, I see. Benefits us, because everything we do wants us to be happy. It wants us to have a benefit. So when it sees that there is a greater benefit to doing the thing than staying put, it'll get on board. But we have to convince it of that first. We have to have that conversation with it first and make it easier, and then keep reinforcing it. Because the two things that impress on the emotional mind are repetition and emotion. So when that fear spikes up of anxiousness, it goes, oh well, this is how I'm going to stop doing this. Then I don't want you to feel that way, so we're going to move away from the thing that's making us feel anxious. But we can look at it from a different way. Hypnosis allows us to reframe that, and that same nervous energy, like when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to engaging with other people, it can go from something that drains us, a fear, to an excitement, because it's really just two sides of the same coin where we can get excited about it. We can have fun with it. And that doesn't mean that we won't still have nerves about it, that it won't still be intimidating here and there, but that's natural. First, we have to have the courage to step into the tension that we feel and go through with it and start showing the mind that, oh, it's okay, and when we do that, we start raising that bar, we start moving out of fear, we start moving up into courage, and then we flow. And a thing that was terrifying before isn't as scary the next time we do it, and we can add more tension to that, and more and more and more, and then we can do anything. But we do have to accept where we are first. We can't force it. We have to acknowledge, yeah, you know what, I'm afraid of public speaking. I have social anxiety around people. Accept that and deal with it. How can we raise the tension on that a little bit? I talk to a lot of people who will say, wow, you're making videos, you're going live. I can't do that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, you can. If I can do it, anybody can. I'm here with synchronesis, and I'm still talking. Hell, right now, I don't know what I'm going to say next. I just know I was going to talk about, and I'm doing it. And it gets easier and it gets more fun for me each time I do it, because I'm stepping up a little more and a little more and a little more. And showing up is a huge part of it. Being consistent, giving yourself that, not being disciplined. Discipline comes once a consistency is built. That's why I show up here every week on Sunday to do these little live streams, because I'm being consistent with it, and I'm creating that new habit. And I've been doing these for a while. I haven't been doing them every week though. There have been times where I'm like, well, I don't have anything to say. I don't feel like it. And I did that. And now I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. If I don't have something to say, I'm going to find something to say, because I know I've got a lot to say. There's a lot of knowledge in here, believe it or not. There's a lot of things I can share with you, things that will help you, like this. So just doing that, just being consistent and showing up, it makes things so much easier. And when I say I don't know what I'm going to say, well, I didn't. And then I'm like, well, you know what? A lot of people talk to me about how afraid of public speaking they are. I help people with anxiety all the time. Social anxiety is a huge issue for my clients. It was a huge issue for me way back when, and now it's not. So talk about that. And it doesn't know, it doesn't matter what it was I was going to say, because I know it's there. The things that I've been through in my journey overcoming anxiety. And if I can do it, anybody can, honestly. And it really is just that easy. We just have to accept where we are, accept what we're feeling, welcome what we're feeling, even if it's uncomfortable, and then welcome in the sense of courage, any sense of playfulness that we can have fun with it when we do it, and then just let it all go. And I'm gonna close out with one of the things. It's a quote from my favorite movie, Bottle Rocket. It was Wes Anderson's first film, and I always think of this before I go live, anytime I make a video, anytime I'm doing public speaking, and those thoughts come up, or somebody says something to me about like, oh, I'm afraid of speaking in front of people. So Bottle Rocket stars Luke and Owen Wilson and their friends, and they're gonna go do a robbery or something. So they're practicing, and Luke Wilson goes to school to visit his little sister, and she's not happy with his choices in life. And this is a little kid. She's like 7 years old, and she's like, what are you doing with your life, Anthony? And he's like, what? I can't believe this. The scene ends. It cuts back. He's out of the car. Owen Wilson is trying to talk him back into the car. Luke Wilson's character, Anthony, is very upset. And he's like, I don't know, how's a kid like Grace get so cynical? And then he turns to Owen Wilson and goes, she thinks I'm a failure. And Owen Wilson's character looks at Anthony, looks at Luke Wilson, and he says, she thinks you're a failure. She's like 7 years old. What has she ever done with her life? So I always think of that whenever I'm worried about any sort of public speaking. It makes me laugh. I'm sure you have something like that too. So I hope this has been helpful. Coming out tomorrow, Monday. And if you're watching this on the replay, it's probably already out, but there's going to be a video giving you a couple techniques to crush anxiety that just takes 60 seconds and help you get out of your head. There will be a link to that. And, before we go, one more thing. This is a quick technique that will help you get out of your head before you're doing any sort of public speaking, before you're going to socialize with people. If you do that, if you're worried about things, you can feel that tension and that stress up here in your head. And it'll be in your head, in your neck, in your shoulders. So what you do is you plant your feet flat on the ground, shoulder width apart. So start that over, beauty of live stream. You place your feet flat on the ground, feet shoulder width apart, and focus on that feeling, on any of that tension, any of that stress that you feel up in your head, in your neck, in your shoulders. And just imagine that you're taking it all and you're moving it into like the top back of your head, where you're just putting it all into a big ball right at the very top of the back of your head. And then just imagine that once you have that into a ball, you've packed it really tight, like you're making a snowball out of all this stress, all that crap that keeps you up in your head. And just start moving it down the back of your head, down your spine, down through your neck, and just feel it moving down past your shoulders. And you might feel yourself open up as it goes down. You'll feel your shoulders open as you open yourself up to new experiences, to new world, to welcome other people into your world. And just keep moving it all the way down your spine. When it gets down to your hips, you might feel your hips open up. You might feel your knees loosen as you just kind of get more into that groove. And just keep sending it down through your legs and just out into the ground. And just let it go out through the ground and disappear, and then come on back and notice how much more relaxed you feel about that. Notice how much more present in your body you feel, how much looser you are from just getting out of your head and being more present in your body. And that's going to help you anytime you have to do any sort of public speaking, anytime you need to socialize with people, anytime you would like to just be more open and welcome people into your world. So I hope that helps. And thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, be seeing you.